G'day and welcome to episode 84 of Trent365. Today's Thursday, the 22nd of February. Let's talk about the Chinese wave. And I'm not talking about some crazy new crowd participation thing to do at sporting events. I'm talking about the Chinese tourism wave. Because it amazes me the number of people that I speak to in the travel, tourism and hospitality sectors who still continue to dismiss the Chinese as a meaningful market. And their usual justification is something along the lines of when they travel in big groups and they don't behave like the rest of our guests, so they tend to disrupt everybody else, or that they're a cheap market. They don't pay as much or spend as much as other guests. So on the back of that, many people just tend to dismiss them and say, well, the Chinese market isn't really important to my business. Now, of course, they understand that the Chinese population is huge. 1.5 billion people or so. But what many of them don't realize is that less than 10% of the Chinese population actually has a passport. So this flood of Chinese tourism that we're seeing today is really only a very small fraction of what it's probably going to be in the near future. And just imagine when the percentage of passport-carrying Chinese increases to 20 or 30%, that's going to be a market that's pretty hard to dismiss. So my advice to anybody who relies on travelers or tourists for any real significant part of their business is you've really got to spend some time trying to work out how you're going to deal with and cater to the Chinese market. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play Store, Overcast, or just follow along on the social streams. And I'll be back again tomorrow. See ya. G'day and welcome to episode 85 of Trent365, and today is Friday, the 23rd of February. I want to give you a heads up about an event that's happening in September, which might seem like a long way away, but it'll happen before you know it. And that event is the World Wellness Weekend. I got a note the other day from Jean-Guy de Gabriac, who I guess is organizing this event. And it's kind of like an open house event for spa and wellness providers to offer a free service or activity for anybody that really wants to participate in the interest of raising awareness about wellness. And of course, you don't have to be giving away $200 facials or anything silly like that. It can be something as simple as a morning yoga session or an afternoon meditation session or a group cooking class with healthy food, or it could be something even as simple as just a community walk in the park. Pretty much anything that encourages and increases the awareness about wellness. I think this is the second year that they've been running it, and the idea is to create an annual global event. And you can register on their website, which is world-wellness-weekend.org. There's also a Facebook page up by the same name. And look, if they can get some momentum for this thing, then there'll be some good media coverage around the time of the event, which of course you can leverage on if you're participating. And if you do it right, of course, the community relationships and the customer relationships that you build up over this open house weekend essentially can be a fairly valuable thing for your business in the long term. So give a bit of thought to what kind of activities you could do. Head on over to the World Wellness Weekend website. That's a mouthful. And register your event and your activity, and then basically put it in your event calendar for Q3 of this year, and away you go. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. You can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play Store, Overcast, or follow along in the social streams. It's that simple. I'll be back again tomorrow. See ya.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.